The word percent is made of two words, per and cent, which means for each 100. Percentages are used to ask someone how much of something they have or want, which is easy if you have half of something. Not so easy if you have a 20th. Imagine the humans of the past going to the market saying, I want 2,573 of those rice corns, because that would take way too long. They instead started saying, imagine this bag is 100. Then, I want 20 of it. And that became 20 of 100, or 20%. In fact, the sign percent came after people started to be too lazy to write per centum, and instead changed it to per cento, and then eliminated everything but the CTO. Because you're counting parts per 100, imagine 100 boxes. How many of those boxes do you have? If you have 5 of them, you have 5%. If you have 50, that's 50%, or half. If you have 90, you have 90%, or almost everything. And if you have 255 boxes, because you run off and get 155 boxes from your friend, you now have 255% compared to the first 100. Let's look at this in practice. If I give you a cake to share with your best friend, how much does each of you get? If you're nice, each gets a half. That's easy. But what if you're with your whole class of 20? You each get a 20th? Because it sounds weird to say a 20th, we usually say things in percent. But beware, a 20th isn't simply 20%. That would be wrong. We need to convert those numbers first and then divide it by 100. So each of you get 5%. You don't always have to express percentages with the percentage sign. Sometimes we don't like to say that 100 is the whole thing because we prefer to say that 1 is the whole thing. That's easier, right? Luckily, this is very easy to convert because you simply divide the percentage by 100. So if you have 20%, that's 0.2. 5% is 0.05. 68% is 0.68. And 553% is 5.53. Theoretically, when you count percentages, you take 100 divided by the whole and then multiply by the part. So when doing an assignment, it's important to figure out which is the part, which is the whole, which is the percentage, and which one of them you need to figure out. To look at a few examples, what percent is 30 out of 20? If you get 80% of 20 questions right in your exam, how many questions did you get right? And in a school where 25% of the teachers teach math, and the school has 50 math teachers, how many teachers does the school have? In those questions, what's the whole, what's the part, and what's the percentage? In the first question, 20 is the original number, so that's the whole. 30 is not a percentage, so that must be the part. And what's left over is the percentage. In the second, we know the percentage because it says 80%, so we fill that in. 20 is all of the questions in the exam, so that's the whole. And we want to know the part. In the last problem, we also see a percentage sign. 25% is our percentage. The 50 teachers are only math teachers, so they are not the whole. So we can fill that in as the half. And the whole is what we want to know. Now we solve all three of those equations and get our answers. 30 is 150% of 20. You got 16 answers right, and there's 200 teachers at the school. Percentages are used all around the world for many different things. A few common examples are, our economy has been growing by 3%, that we have a tax rate of 50%, and H&M has a 40% discount sale. But I'm sure from now on, you'll start spotting them wherever you look.